What's a stereotype that you see broken more often than not? DK, where the whole guys getting together to talk about their sexual conquests thing came from. Women are much more likely to discuss the details. This is pretty accurate. I'm a woman and I know way more about my girlfriend's sex lives than their partners would probably like to know. From what I've seen, guy talk is pretty much not about sex. No guy ever talks about details, it's all just, she's hot, I'd bang her. You banged her? Nice. Also, we do that to show our friends pics of hot chicks we know. That's it. People with glasses being smart. I'm blind and dumb as fuck. I live right next to some projects with a lot of black guys who look like the stereotype gangsta. Yet, the more I hang out with them, the more I realize they are some of the nerdiest dudes I've ever met. They all grew up watching cartoons, anime, and playing Nintendo games. Honestly, they know more about nerd culture than I do. I didn't realize so many black people were into Yu-Gi-Oh! It's awesome. People always assume the men's restroom is the grosser one. I don't know why, maybe it's the stereotype that men are pigs, or whatever. I worked as a janitor for a while, and while the men's restroom had higher peak grossness, the women's had a significantly higher average. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, men's restrooms are normally a 3 to 4, but when something goes wrong it goes really wrong and spikes up to 10. Women's restrooms generally sit around 6 to 7, but rarely go above 8. The sleeping Mexican or lazy. Never understood where this even came from, because if anything they are the hardest workers from my experience. I like how my uncle describes it. He'll say we're the hardest working lazy people on the planet. When there's work to be done and money to be earned, he'll work his ass off. When a day off comes though, you bet he's going to be sitting in the yard with a case of Tecate doing his best to move as little as possible. Young kids, new employees. Maybe my work just gets the good bunch. But the new employees are eager, work hard, want to impress people. Then you walk by an older guy and he's on his phone or shopping on Amazon, etc. Yet all those people hop online and bash the new generation. Maybe it's time you retire, you old fart, and let me have someone productive to work with on my projects. When I'm out at a restaurant, I see way more people over the age of 50 dicking around on their phones than people in their 20s. Yes. I'll take my mom out to eat and she sits on her phone the entire time while I try to talk to her. Drives me nuts. I'd rather sit alone and save some money since I'm talking to myself as it is. That black people like fried chicken. Everyone likes fried chicken. If you don't like fried chicken, I'm not sure you can be in my life. I can't use more negativity. Same with watermelon. Anyone that isn't dead on the inside loves watermelon. Fried chicken and watermelon at a pool party? Sounds like living the dream to me. That muscly men are tough as nails. Many start hitting the gym because they are getting picked on. For many it's a physical shell to hide behind. Funeral directors being depressing grim reapers who will take financial advantage of families dealing with the loss of a loved one. Totally not true. My coworkers are hysterical, party hard, and are very careful to never push a family to purchase anything they do not want or need. Also, many are women. My dad went to a college that has a thanatology program, and he would often stay after classes to work in the computer lab, early days of computer science IT, and he says the thanatology students were the biggest party animals. Gave the example of them practicing a funeral procession, casket, and all. They stopped in front of the lab, opened the casket, and pulled out beers to offer to my dad and his friends. All gay men have great fashion taste. 2 of my gay male friends mostly dress in tracksuits and hoodies. Most people are scared of dudes in biker gangs. In my experience, they tend to be some of the nicest people you'll meet. Same with metalheads. I've met some of the nicest people ever at metal concerts. Don't let the upside down crosses, flaming skulls, and black on black fool you. I would say metalheads are nice, unless you want to talk music with them. My metal is better than yours. That's not metal, that's hard rock. Your music sucks, because it's not what I listen to. Not exclusive to metal fans, but they are the worst example of this. Same with heavily tattooed, pierced people. I went to a tattoo convention for my first ever tattoo. My friend was getting her tattoo done on the other side of the convention hall, so I was all by myself as I waited my turn with the artist. A couple approached me, tattoos all over their face, neck, hands, big gauges everywhere. They sensed my nervousness and asked me if I had someone to sit with me. When I told them no, they offered to sit with me. The woman held my hand and the guy was patting me on the back, cheering me on. When it was over, they welcomed me to the tattoo world and congratulated me. They were fantastic. So warm and friendly. They were out-of-towners, so I gave them some restaurant recommendations afterward and they gave me a hug and left. I'll never forget that couple. Most gay guys aren't anything like the stereotype you see on TV and are usually indistinguishable from straight guys. People just notice the ones that aren't. I don't think I've ever seen a real-life example of a millennial stereotype. Are you saying you didn't forego homeownership in favor of a daily serving of avocado toast? I think every boomer says something like this nonsense should be forced to sell their home to a millennial for a price that equates to one avocado toast a day for 30 years. Maybe 32 to 35 to account for having to save for a down payment. People think millennials are still 15. Most millennials are in, or close to, their 30s already. Most vegetarians don't really give a shit what you eat and wouldn't think about making a fuss if you were out with them and ordered meat. Mostly just a loud minority, as with most things in this thread that give them a bad reputation. When my sister became a vegetarian, she did it quietly. We found out one Christmas when someone asked her if she wanted any pork. In typical formation, my family roasted the shit out of her. It started off as harmless fun, but I think it went a little overboard. When one person is being targeted by 15+ people, including a few blunt 10-year-olds, I suspect it stopped being funny for her real fucking quick. I feel kind of bad for her. She's made a lot of changes in her life for the better, including stopping smoking, and it's amazing to see. I'm really proud of her. In my experience, people from bad neighborhoods tend to be really good neighbors to each other, with a handful of exceptions. Those exceptions are what gives the area the reputation, but everyone else puts in extra work to try to support their neighbors. The less money in a community, the more sense of community there is. I used to work in an unbelievably wealthy suburb and for fun would drive through neighborhoods to look at nice houses. Never saw people out walking, kids playing, etc. That lawyers are dull, boring people. Some of the craziest, drug-using, orgy-having, singing at the top of their lungs in bars people I've met have been in the law profession. The lazy immigrant stereotype. I don't know how anyone buys into this crap when you can literally see it broken on a daily basis. I think this trend began a long time ago by conservatives who are against immigrants. It's funny because you hear them say, "Immigrants are lazy," and "Immigrants are taking our jobs." Like, LOL, which one is it? You can have both. That schizophrenics are psychos who hear voices telling them to kill people. Most people with schizophrenia are just your average people that sometimes zone out or have trouble focusing. Like most other mental illnesses, it exists on a spectrum. I've never once seen any woman get mad when someone held a door for them. At least for American-born Asians, the stereotype that Asians can't drive. There is a study in the US from car insurance companies, and they indeed stated that Asians are better drivers and overall that's why they tend to have cheaper car insurance. However, they also found out that foreigners, not only Asians, tend to have more accidents on average, and I won't be surprised if the stereotype exists because of the latter. As Mexican, that all of us are tanned, I am such pro-white skin. Mexico has multi-race variety more than any other country on the world. Even 2 years of friendship with a German friend, she asked me later why I am not looking Mexican. It was really funny. It's the same with Brazilians. They come in many different colors. As a hardcore Lifetime reader, we women love fantasy and science fiction and more men like romance than will ever admit it. That rich people don't worry about money. It's actually basically impossible to earn so much money that it's impossible to blow it all if you spend thoughtlessly. See for example the recent GQ article about Johnny Depp's money problems. Being rich means earning above a certain, relatively modest amount, and then actually budgeting so you have money for the things that matter. You don't need a large income to be rich, though it helps. You need to be able to keep your expenses down and invest your income for a long time. Religious people are nicer. Ha! Wait staff at restaurants that church people go to after service ends will tell you how they really are. Mosques. Vast majority of the time they usually give sermons on values like don't be a liar or don't talk behind other people's back. The worst one I ever attended was an imam complaining about how Muslim girls aren't dressing modestly enough. That people with money are bad, corrupt, and don't want others to be wealthy. Most people that I know that have money are very kind, happy to see others succeed, and are very generous. That men are blithely unaware of what goes on in a woman's head and are unable to appropriately assess an emotional situation. As a woman, I find I run into these problems more with my female friends than my male friends. Black people can't be racist. I apologize if written words offend you. That statement is the most overused, ridiculous stereotype I know. What's a stereotype that you see broken more often than not? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.